Welcome, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the After Show for Succession Season 2, Episode 10. This is Not for Tears, where tonight we talk Shiv and Tom hit stormy waters, Kendall flips, and the breakfast massacre. Stay tuned for more.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome back, Succession super fans. Oh my God, we have so much to talk about. Oh my God. My name is Shaka Smith. I am joined by Thelma Mbaezue-Daniel, who you've seen on Queen Sugar, Get Shorty, Basketball Wives. This is us.
Okay.
So glad you've joined us. And we're also joined by Head of Popcorn Talk, Mr. Ryan Nilsen.
We're here for you.
Yes.
We're here for you.
Every week.
Oh my God, we are still stunned, and I can tell you, our reaction at that end scene. We actually have our reaction for you guys at that last scene.
Oh gosh,
Ryan had to film this.
Had to. We knew something was going down.
But I'm certain you guys probably had very similar reactions.
Very similar. It was just overwhelming.
Oh
Look at
my
me.
God.
I'm just frozen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here it is.
The day his reign ends. I'll be providing the documents and can answer any questions you may have in the coming days. Thank you very much.
I just was like,
Come back.
Lord. Rips it up.
yeah.
Amazing, right? I mean, I think that might be
Oh
only
my
second after the
God.
2016 election. Only second after the 2016 election with my shock during that scene. That was the level.
I mean, that's the
Killer.
overall thought right there. Kendall.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? Let that go into our overall thoughts, guys. So what were your overall thoughts? I know you were just bursting, so you got to tell us your overall thoughts.
Overall
Ryan.
thoughts. Well, I mean, you saw it there. Like, we all lost our minds at the ending. There was a reason they didn't cut away. I'm like, oh, they're going to show the press conference?
Yeah.
And Greg's there for some reason? Wow, this was Kendall's comeback. I mean, last week I predicted that Kendall was going to be the guy they chose, which
Yeah.
I was right. But no one could have predicted that he would just turn the tables on everyone.
Wait, what do you mean predicted that Kendall was the guy that chose?
Chosen for
blood
to be like the blood
sacrifice.
Oh, okay,
sacrifice. I think this was perfect. This was perfect because, like I said at the end, we almost see Logan proud a bit because he said, you're not raw enough. You're not a killer.
You're not a killer.
This is kind of impressive to him. So I think my overall thought is just this show does a really good job of just giving you the playing of exactly how things work, and we'll unravel that a little more in this episode.
Yeah. My overall thought is there needs to be an episode 11 that shows me the back machinations, because they must have been planning this, because we saw different looks and glances and things. You were like, something's happening that we're not getting clued into,
Yeah.
So,
by the way, y'all, I'm in the chat right now. We have tons of people just
The chat
reacting to
lit
this
up.
craziness right here. We got LaDonna Louise, brutal savage, like a Mayan sacrifice. Is this a Logan move, or is that is that smile just pride at the end?
Oh, yeah, that was
Definitely
pride. That was
'Cause
pride.
I said that verbatim. I was like, this is exactly what Logan would have done.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. So it's great to see this happen with Kendall. And do you think that the breakaway with Naomi was a bit of an influence in him making this decision? Or, I mean, of course, there are many things.
This is something that Kendall, to me, had a plan for.
And
He had a contingency plan this entire time. Or, I mean, I don't know how long, but longer than this moment. And so it would be great to see them go back and show us when he was planning this.
But maybe in Shiv, because right before he has the talk with Logan,
They did the look thing.
They do
when
a
she
look.
was-
Yeah. So it's really interesting. But you know what? Let's talk about Shiv, and let's talk about Shiv and Tom, because they hit some stormy waters. But didn't we feel a little bit good that Tom stood up for himself?
I definitely felt good, but I think it was also really raw timing.
Yeah.
But I think, it's really important for Tom to have done that because Shiv is so manipulative, to the point where I just feel like this is some sort of abuse. He made the comment, he was like, what did he say? I wonder if the sad I have without you would be less than the sad I have with you.
That broke my heart.
Broke my heart. It was like a kindergartner saying it, in the rawest, freshest, most,
That was
plain
it.
way.
This scene was beautiful, though.
Yeah.
This might have been one of my favorite scenes of the entire season because they just were being brutally honest with each other. And you start off the episode with them planning a threesome on the boat. Like, if this relationship couldn't get any weirder. At the end of last season, of course, they got married, and this whole season it's been just they're not on the same page at all.
Yeah.
They're not on the same frequency. There's just not they're not talking with each other, and they put it all out on the line. And it happened with a dinner table where, at first Shiv offers up Tom, and maybe she was really offering him up, maybe she wasn't. And just to see them on the way they shot it too, it was just two different shots on that beach, and just seeing their reactions to them really laying it out on the line. Fascinating. Really fascinating.
What I think they did this episode is we were hit with the ugliest and hardest truths of this family, but they gave it to us in the most beautiful scenes, like from just everything, from start to finish. The yacht, the landscape, Logan going off to Greece and just watching that boat
go. Even how he arrived. Into it was like, whoa, what a dramatic entrance.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to give you the toughest part of this family, but we're going to do it to you as softly and easily on your eyes as possible.
I also think it's really beautiful that we see this shift in the normality of society, where it's like the woman is the one who's pushing for a lot of these Paul and Megan's kind of moments, whereas the man, so it kind of hits us in a different way because we're just like, okay, this is very different. So when he says that, you asked me for a threesome or to have an open relationship the day we got married, I was like, oh my God.
Because that was the wedding day. What else am I going to say? What do you...
Yeah, and it kind of shows you how much power Shiv has over him.
He said that's a lot to bring to the altar. Yeah. I remember we all, even Thelma, we were just, wow. Good for him, though, for bringing all that up. It's just, it might be a little too late. He said he felt strung up to dry. I think this was really a breaking point for Tom. Yeah. And right after, takes the chicken from Logan.
Yeah, and I was going to say, we know Tom, this is not quite his natural posture. Yeah. So he doesn't know exactly how to stand up for himself, but he did what he knew best. Yeah. That was to eat that chicken off his plate.
So beautifully shot, though. I cannot get over that beach scene.
Yeah. Oh. But sometimes we are like that. We're so frustrated. We don't know what to do, and we just got to grasp for that one thing that we think gives us power, and that was it for him.
And I think that also just kind of reads into that Tom doesn't deserve it. He's just too aloof. He's just he's too helpless.
Doesn't even know how to fight for himself. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's just like, oh, poor Tom.
But he's doing the best he can. We're doing the best we can for you guys, and we hope that you're giving us some good ratings in the chat.
Absolutely. We'd want you to make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube, give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and more, and go ahead and leave us a comment and we'll definitely be able to shout you out and say hello like we're going to do shortly.
Yes, and thank you guys for making us the ESPN of TV talk.
We're here for you.
Yes, we are.
We're here for you.
Now we got to talk about that breakfast massacre.
I love that. That's exactly what it was.
It was so nice that everyone just got to... It was almost therapy for this group, right? That everyone just got to lay it out on the line. Ryan, was there any moment during that massacre of sorts that was most shocking for you?
There were 1,000 moments in this scene. And if you've ever taken an acting class, usually a professor or your scene partner, you talk about beats, you talk about who has the power in the scene. Yeah. There were so many power changes throughout this entire scene. I wrote them down. I'm just going to go through a few of these. They had us just
kind of going head fake, right?
Insane. Kendall aims at Jerry. Then Jerry aims at Frank. Frank is down to go. Frank volunteers. Frank shifts at Carl. Carl aims at Jerry. Connor aims at Jerry. Roman stands up for Jerry. And then Roman aims at Tom. Kendall aims at Tom. Tom freaks out. Carl aims at Tom. Shiv aims at Tom. Jerry aims at Shiv. And then just the line that Roman says, "We've killed enough women." Oh my God. Just crazy. Immediately kind of eliminating that
But really,
option.
that was him really watching out for his girl.
Exactly.
Totally.
And I loved how he thought so quickly on the spot. It made sense. And he said it in such a, again, Roman way where it's just using honesty.
Because he's like, I want to save her, but it was also the opposite tact that you get from Shiv. It was such a dichotomy where Roman's like, I'm going to just save Jerry, think about it later. And Shiv's like, offer him up, think about it later.
And then Connor volunteers.
Yeah, well,
I want to be bought out.
Well, Connor's trying to get that money, and he knows that Dad doesn't approve, which we got to touch on.
And then he also tried to, I think, help his political campaign by having this, weird story. I've just been the guy behind the veil this whole time, just running all the strings. I'll keep that in mind, Connor. Thank you.
And it only ends with Logan saying, we have half an idea.
But also I just love how in that moment Shiv turns on Tom. Yeah. And almost immediately she's like, okay, how does it work? Yeah. And Kendall says, Tom is not a big enough fish on his own. It's like Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, karma. Look at that. Look how quickly everyone can turn on each other and find like legitimate reasons.
Yeah, I think Beauty and the Beast. That's when Roman looped Shiv and said like, "Oh yeah, Tom isn't big enough. Tom and Shiv get to go."
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast. Oh my goodness.
We had so many good moments, but I think, of course, the best moment was what are Greg Sprinkles?
Yeah, I'm more than a sprinkle. I feel like I need that on a T-shirt.
What are Greg
I'm
Sprinkles?
more than a sprinkle.
Everything's better with just a sprinkle of
Yeah.
Greg.
Yeah.
So
a Tom
good.
Sunday with a Greg cherry on the top. Just great moments. But it really, I think it also forced people to realize their place in the company. It also forced people to realize their expendability. Poor Jerry's on the paper. She's the one that makes sense, but it's just not good tactically. But it was nice that we got that moment. But let's talk a little bit about, before we move on, Kendall and Naomi. That relationship and how it ended.
I don't necessarily think that that's the end of that relationship, but I do think it was really interesting how it played out, but more perfect, like just more interesting that Logan comes back around and almost acts as though he doesn't know that he orchestrated the whole leaving of Naomi. He's like, oh, well, you know, what happened in this situation? Yeah. So it was a little weird. But I feel like it makes sense for Logan not to like Naomi because she could also be a spy. She could have a lot of different intentions. Yeah,
and he is concerned about Kendall, and it seems he's genuinely concerned about Kendall flying straight with the drug abuse.
And I think it's also like something along the lines, like nobody wants you to be unhappy, but not when you're in a toxic relationship, something that could turn toxic. I think that's just kind of the underlying message there.
Yeah, it might go back to what we were talking about last week with using the truth as a weapon, in that he's identifying his drug problem, and he might just not like Naomi at all, but he's going to use it for, hey, she inhibits your drug issue. So it appears like he's caring about him, but no, she even has an incredible line where he cares about the broken you.
Yeah, the broken
That's
you.
what Naomi was saying about Logan to Kendall. Really fascinating. And I mean, we're going to talk about it probably a little later, but like Kendall's arc this season, we even had a few episodes back when they're at the party announcing Rhea, and Logan, and he introduces his girlfriend to Logan, immediate dismissal, and just how much that breaks them each time. This was the same thing.
Yeah, and I do think we've seen the last of Rhea. Poor Rhea is headed for the door. She's not coming back. But with Kendall now and Logan, who do we think is the biggest killer? Because we have this moment where Logan dismisses Kendall and says, look, you don't have this killer instinct. But really, this entire time, it looks like Logan's had the blind spot when it comes to Kendall and has assumed Kendall's being weak because of his drug issues and his past. So do we think that Logan has been out-Loganed at this point by Kendall?
We're addressing the ending now?
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
Kendall flips, and he flips hard as you could possibly go. But also knowing that Logan's got something in his back pocket, too, but we'll talk about that.
Right, because he has everything with
the waiter.
The waiter.
Yeah.
Like, but I think this was such an interesting tactic. They teased last week, we were predicting who's the blood sacrifice going to be. Is Logan just going to step down? Well, this isn't a step down.
Yeah.
This is like an exposure.
Yeah.
He's being exposed for all the wrongdoings. They have papers. Like, this is a plan, and it's a coup.
Yeah.
Last season he had a failed coup. This is a full-fledged coup. Yeah. And I bet it really lasted quite a while. Even when there's the scene where they go and visit Stu.
Yeah.
And Stu declines them. That might have been Kendall acting. I really
because of how he kind of like jumped up and started like the whole I'll do this and I'll do that.
Yeah. Could have been, but it did. I don't know. I just think this was a backup plan because Kendall knows Logan, and Kendall knows Logan could offer him up too.
I think that for right now, Kendall, again, has been planning this for some time. But I feel like in that moment when Kendall asked him, Dad, do you think that it could have been me? And to get that particular response was almost, to me, like a green light to, you know what, maybe I've been thinking about this, but you know what, now I know for a fact that I will never be he would respect me more if I go with this route. Like, what would Dad do in this situation? So I feel like that was also the straw that broke the camel's back somewhat. Yeah. And I also feel like this season, the thing that we just see about this show is like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what your relationship is, it's all coming down to the bottom line, which is money, which is power.
Yeah. And you know what? I love Kendall, but at this point, I love Kendall. Because this was a power boss move, of course. Yeah. Except for the fact I'm thinking none of this probably happened without Greg. At some point, Greg must have reached out to Kendall. He said, look,
he had the papers.
At some point, Greg said, Tom is the wrong wagon. I got to get to Kendall somehow.
Also,
and
they're
so
friends.
Yeah.
He got him the apartment.
Yeah. So
and they're
Greg,
actually cousins. Like they're the ones who are
yeah,
actually.
but
have
we
a
haven't seen
relationship.
much of them interacting, and so Greg is the one that had to tip this hat. So we're going to really see what happens for Greg next season because he's got to get some sort of reward, right?
Yeah.
Can you think of another show where there just were so many possibilities?
Oh no, yeah.
We were an hour in. This is an hour and 12-minute long episode. We were an hour in it. We still did not know what was going to happen.
What was going to happen? Who
That's
it was going to
crazy.
be? We're still guessing. That's
Yeah.
true.
It's honestly special.
And we got to talk. I mean, I guess we can save it for predictions, but just Logan having the waiter in the back pocket. But if Logan truly wants the company to survive, he's going to probably keep that under wraps, I guess.
Well, exactly. So I think it's one of those situations where it's like, if you go down, I go down too. So it's like, what self-interest is what we see to be the prevailing, motivator. So in his own self-interest, he'll probably keep that under wraps.
And I was a little concerned about the way that NRPI rolled off of Logan's tongue when he was, telling Kendall not to
you're
worry
not a
about
real-
him.
yeah.
No real person. It was almost as if he was the one that created that designation for cruises.
Yeah.
Because, that to me at that moment, I was realizing this really did go all the way to the top.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where, again, a code. He speaks in a certain code where it's like, oh, but he could have been talking and just saying like no real person was, and then they took it and ran with it. And I also feel like it just kind of brought me back to the whistleblower. I read, I was just like, this is the truth though. You kind of wish she kind of went through with it because now, wow, because of the absence of that realization of kind of like facing whatever was to come, we just kind of enabled it to continue.
Yeah. But it's like the buck stops here.
And it's a long game from Kendall. This really shows. I think it just makes you rethink that entire scene with him and Logan. Obviously, there's the karma of, you have to be a killer, and he has killed someone, but he's not a killer like Logan is. And he was almost asking him to do what he did in that conference room.
Right. I mean, Kendall.
Exactly.
But Kendall, knowing what he knows, had to keep his composure because he must have been thinking, "Oh, really? I'm not a killer. Okay, we'll see what happens." Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you know what? I'm really just kind of thinking this in this moment. So much we've been doubting Kendall in the ways that he's using meekness as some kind of like shield. But the truth is, this is the strongest thing. Having, that much self-control and discipline, now I'm just seeing everything from a different perspective. I'm like, this is playing the long game for real.
Yeah, maybe he was
Terrific
playing the sort of wounded duck so that he could be kind of as not in the conversation as possible, knowing that if he looked any stronger, the guns were coming for him.
Exactly, because that's one thing we know about somebody in that kind of authoritarian position. You'd never want to be challenged.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good point. And we also have some people who are agreeing with you in the chat. They're saying the writing is brilliant. We got Ella Wilson. Greg will be probably moving up again. He is tough. Kendall did play the long game. Greg probably helped him out with the documents. That's from Scotty Ingram. Thank you so much for coming in the chat, y'all. We got like 50, 70 in the
We
chat.
totally appreciate it.
But yet, the writing, again, it's just remarkable.
And a little bit
show.
of, and the arc that we had from, that sort of almost baptismal like thing with Kendall in the beginning of the season, towards the end almost being offered up, as a sacrificial lamb, but not taking the sacrifice,
But
he's not dying for anyone's sins here.
Yeah, but what did you guys think of Shiv coming in and begging and kind of like pleading for Tom? How do you think that played in terms of Logan? Do you think it made him respect her more or less?
What I saw from Logan was, I think Logan went soft. I think Logan's gone soft. I saw him really leaning into the family and allowing them to be family rather than people that were making business decisions. At the one point where he says to Shiv, you make the choice, and he goes, if she said I can't, and he kind of says, okay, I understand. It's because he understood that this was now, I'm not going to let you choose what sibling to offer up. That's a decision I need to make. And so I think he was willing to let family be family here.
I agree with you to an extent. Yeah. I don't think he fully went soft. I think he got bested in a lot of different ways. Like, it wasn't just he had a lapse of judgment. I think literally Kendall just outsmarted him. Kendall, Shiv, everyone sort of just outsmarted him. He was comfortable with stepping down, which I was a little surprised with up top. And from that preview last week, I thought, oh, he'll never step down. He was kind of fine with that because, yeah, he's no longer in control of the company. Thelma was saying last week about how, he could probably be been maneuvering or taking control of the company from the outside. And I think that's what he was thinking as well. He did not expect to get exposed. Like, he could face jail time. He could really be in trouble here.
Yeah.
I think he is in trouble
But
here.
I think he thinks the family. I think he thought Kendall loved him too much to do something like that. Kendall was too he thought Kendall's sentimentality.
He thought, Tom might turn.
Yeah.
But I actually, I see where you're coming from, but I actually think in that moment it changed things, because he even said, this is the kind of decision you're going to need to make as the top person.
Yeah.
So in some ways, I feel like Shiv making the decision to back Tom in that moment gave him that she's not a killer. Like, she can't go for what she knows. She just went against her own instincts because she knows that Tom would be a good option.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, it had Shiv in a moment of where he really needed her to tell the blind truth, and she didn't. Whereas you had a moment where Roman had every reason to lie. It was one of the first times we've ever seen his dad pat him on the back, be proud of him.
Yeah.
And he's coming back from this great moment, and everybody's willing to lie to him. And he said, you know what? As good as this moment feels, I'm going to tell you the truth. That's what I saw between the two of them at that moment. So I feel like, if anything, I see Roman being offered an opportunity to work his way to the top. It's not just a blind handout. He could still be in the running for CEO, whether he was previously in a different position.
No, I saw it.
Wow.
I saw it as giving. I thought he was definitely giving it to Shiv. That's why he said the line to Kendall, you got to be a killer, and that's what it takes. But maybe nowadays you don't have to be, because he realized Shiv isn't the killer that he wants her to be, but she's gonna get it because she makes the most sense. So that to me is like, I still think he wanted to go with Shiv, but now I think he's really happy with Kendall. I think you could see that face. To me, that was like, if this is the way it had to happen, this is the way it had to happen.
I could see that, but I feel like, maybe that's not the. But say something like, sorry.
So I just read something in the chat, and it blew my mind. So I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, that face called for.
I know.
Yeah, it did.
This is Shumzi. Greg told Ken at the end of season 1 finale that he had documents, that he had evidence in the finale season 1. So Greg has really been in somewhat cahoots with Kendall from the end of season 1.
Oh, so maybe there's we need an episode 11, guys. Just give us the backstory so we can see how they all know.
No, that is very true, because he did get him the apartment, but he still kind of treated Greg in a very Tom-like way.
Yeah.
So it was very much still that manipulation. So I'm glad.
But Tom really,
that does jog my memory. Absolutely.
Tom did really take advantage of it.
I forgot he mentioned it casually. It was right before he drove the waiter out into the river. He casually says, "I have evidence that's really bad stuff, really bad stuff." So that was in his brain since then. That's crazy.
Yeah, I love how the writers just kind of brought that back.
Kendall may have just been playing possum this entire time, always knowing he had his little back.
Yeah, he probably knew he couldn't really show his cards because his dad does have this trump card of what he actually did.
And his dad kept him in close, too. His dad kept him close.
So maybe now, do you think that the money might have been a setup? So it's like later on, it could be like, well, Logan might have dropped off the money because now...
The money might be a setup. What money?
The money that Kendall dropped off for the family. Just thinking long run.
Right. I think... Oh, that's a great point.
That could happen.
That's a really good point.
We'll have to ruminate over predictions, but we have a couple of special segments. We have our flex moments, our savage line, and we're going to do our favorite moment of the season. Of course, our flex moment, and of course, we'll do our news and our predictions.
Yes.
But let us go to our flex moment. This is the moment where a character really... Oh, there we go. Our moment where a character really bossed up, had a great moment of the episode. What did you guys have?
Oh, it's Kendall, dude.
Oh, well...
It's Kendall.
Hey,
the final... I mean... First off, just in this season, we've kind of second guessed him. I did think that he was going to get gutted. I thought this was it. It would be a really tragic end. What a comeback!
Yeah,
and just having the cahoots just having the balls to go out there and literally in public TV risk it all. Meticulously planned. Major flex moment, but ... and you saw our reaction. We lost it from that.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest flex moment. I have one more, but I'd love to hear your guys.
Yeah.
I think one of the bigger flex moments for me was just, them sitting there and he's just talking about how at the end of the day, it's about money. And the shareholders, even if they can save a little more, he didn't even say significantly more, if they can even save just a little more, or they can make just a little more, it's worth it to them. So it just like at the end of the day, it just comes down to money. So I think his exact line, he was like, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I love that moment from Stewie, because Stewie was like, no, I don't like to deal.
That's a really
He was
good
like,
one.
that's all it is. It just all comes down to the bottom line, which is money for them.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have one, or I have one more if you want.
What? Oh, no, well, of course, Tom. Tom finally standing up to himself, and even that moment where he says, I'll talk to I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
So I love that moment for Tom.
I was gonna say the chicken, yeah.
And of course Greg, but low key. Like, this all happened because of Greg. So, and then Greg is standing there with the little file. Like, this is all taking place because of him. So Greg he's got that whole. He plays it so well too. He's been nervous the entire season. He's been bumbling the entire season. But Greg has also had his out.
So good.
Agreed. What's your other one?
Oh, I have one more. That was just Roman at the top of the episode when he's saying, "I don't have confidence in the firm," and the guy goes, "I don't really know what to say." Then don't say anything.
Yeah, I actually had that down as well.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let us talk about our savage lines.
I think for me,
I don't know what is that. What is that sound drop?
That's awesome.
I think for me, the savage line, again, similar to the last one, when Logan said, most things don't exist. When he said, most things don't exist, but we exist because we're a family.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just talking in terms of like companies and like everything is an illusion.
Yeah.
So I think that was really a moment for me because this show just continues to inject such reality, but on such a big scale, you really have to kind of sit back and look, you know what, that's actually true.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the perspective that you have to do some of the things that people are doing in this show.
It's pretty good. I had one that was, oh boy. Kendall approaches Logan. Why is Naomi here? I'm not sure we have enough provisions.
That was one of my lines. I was like, oh.
Like, yikes. You
That was
plenty
a
of
great
provisions,
one.
but wow, that just says it all right there. And my last one was, it was one of Logan's lines just saying, you're not a killer, you have to be a killer. Nowadays, you might not have to be, but for this company, you do.
That's exactly what I thought he was saying. Yeah, you might not have to be. It's a very Shiv way of manipulation. Like, the same exact way. They deal with the same person sometimes.
For me, I loved when Tom was a little nervous about the other lady coming over, and he says, I haven't done a stadium gig before, so he might not be able to
Yeah,
get
I've never done. I like that. What if she just, goes into the bathroom and watches us from the keyhole? Okay. Are we still talking about the same thing? Like, I don't understand.
I have two more. Of course, Greg, when he asked, why should we get rid of Roman? Well, you're widely known as a horrible person. So,
you're widely known as a horrible person. That's
and my
so good.
last one was Roman talking about why, I don't even know if I wrote it down, but why they didn't get the deal. And because, the guy was cokey bullshit 3 a.m. Scott C in the morning type of guy. So, the line, we could just be going for hours in the savage lines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man. And now we got to go with our favorite moment of season 2. So let that sit in for you guys in the chat. We want to hear some of your favorite moments of season 2 as well. But what were your favorite moments of season 2?
I gotta tell you.
So many.
Before this episode, it was probably Born on the Floor. What a excellent episode and just an iconic moment for this show. Anytime that phrase is uttered, it's Succession. Like, you're going to think of this show. So that iconic moment for sure. However, I really loved the ending of this season.
Yeah, it has to be Kendall. It's
gotta be Kendall.
This is a huge moment. This is a really huge moment, I think. And I think it's almost like a bigger or an exaggerated moment from Shiv interrupting in the middle of dinner. Like, just tell them it's me.
To me, the Shiv was a bigger one because we weren't expecting anything.
But this time I wasn't.
It was a big occasion, yeah.
But for me, they're like that. For me, it's both of those. The moments where they kind of step up, where it's like when Shiv said that. Yeah. Just tell them it's me. It's the same personality trait I see that he respects being shown.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
that's a good one.
I think the two were on the same, but I think Shiv was out of the blue. Because even at the time, people were like, "You're not even in the company. Like, what are you? Who are you?" And then, of course,
bold of her to speak up.
Yeah, and that was just like, and then Kendall's rap. Yeah, come on, Kendall doing that rap.
I was thinking
come
of that.
on,
That's a good one.
Jeez.
You know, one that I just thought of as well. I love
Beautiful
how
moment.
Jerry just. This was actually my favorite moment of this episode when Jerry just brought out of nowhere when she was like, "What about me?" Well, there's witness tampering. Like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, wait. Are we talking about that? We're labeling it? She was so shocked. She's like, "Wait, don't you ever repeat that again?" Oh, that was a great moment.
And I think one of the great moments was Jerry and Roman when we first get that first call and that goes down.
Every moment with
every moment with them,
Yeah, it's crazy how Roman stood up for Jerry, and Shiv didn't stand up for Tom.
Yeah, we saw that.
Such a good point.
She offered him, and then Roman is like, Jerry,
No, he even said the worst of the word. He pulled anything out of the hat for Jerry. He was like, at this point,
so she can't go. She
can't go.
Like, I'm surprised no one figured it out.
She needs to breathe. We need her in the company so that we can all breathe.
Oh my gosh!
Anything.
I almost thought they were gonna figure it out at that table because he was just like, I was nervous for him. I was like, don't give it up.
Connor's a meme.
Do we have any good ones?
I'm glad that happened because we talked about how he could be a meme, right? That he was the one to watch at that
And
hearing.
Connor did settle the question, GIF or GIF. He did call it a GIF.
Goodness,
He did call it a GIF.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
But did you see when Jerry? No. When Greg or whatever, he was talking about his hearing. We didn't talk about like his answers at the hearing.
I just want to say no woman, no cry.
Yeah, like, I should have just like gone with no woman, no cry the whole time. Like, sorry, what?
And this episode is called "This Is Not for Tears," so I love that. No woman and no cry.
Let's unpack that. This is not for tears. Because that means that could mean that Logan is not upset by what is happening. Like this is for
Well, I thought it was as ugly and disgusting as this is going to be. This is par for the course for this family because it gave us that juxtaposition of the beauty of this family or what they could possess and hold and be part of in terms of the richness and beautifulness of it, but it was just real all toxic.
But it kind of also plays in the sense of like this is not for tears and this moment where he's stepping up and we could all be sad, we could all feel like this is a moment, but instead he seizes it. Turns his own narrative.
I have one more moment. It was from this episode. I think this was a microcosm of the entire family. This one moment in this episode. So Roman just got back from this hostage crisis. He got boated to the yacht, and he gets out. It's just a sibling meeting. They're all chilling, all four of them. And he goes, "Man, is there ever going to be a moment where we can all just like talk about like our feelings, what's wrong, like a really honest, sincere moment?" And then they go, "Oh, my feelings. Oh, my feelings. Oh, look at me. I'm my feelings."
Yeah, I love. Roman was the adult almost of this episode. Even when he got like razzed about the whole hostage situation, he was like, "Oh, really? I was fearing for my life, but we're talking about Caesar salad here." Like he was like, "Come on, guys, this is real stuff I'm going through."
Crazy.
Yeah, there was. So, do we have any cool moments in the chat that we didn't identify?
In the chat, we got Ken's rapping was amazing. That was iconic.
Yeah.
L to the OG, for sure. Jerry Man was so entertaining. Everyone's saying the rapping, the Kendall scenes were great. His acting was off the hook this season. He's definitely in the run for an Emmy.
And I will actually say Logan running for Nan's car. I don't know if we've seen Logan run at all. That's what Logan was like, no.
Lisa Robinson just threw that one out. Nan Pierce destroying Logan Roy and him running out.
Because we've never seen him that desperate. He was desperate in that moment.
One final one from Frank Lamada. Greg and Tom in the little safe room was hilarious. When he's throwing the water bottles.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was like, am I in the fake safe room? Where's the real safe room?
Such a good season.
Yes. Do we have any news and gossip?
Yes. News and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, first and foremost, right before this episode aired, I got a notification from Hollywood Reporter just talking about how sociologists explain why our fans' fascination with all these repugnant heroes and just why they're so... Because, I mean, I've had so many people ask me that they haven't watched the show, but I talk about it with them, and they're like, "Wow, dude, do you like anyone?" They, in a sense, they're really likable characters. They're just not good people.
Yeah, at all.
They're really not good people. So why do we like that? And it's kind of the complex of why we like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
We enjoy humans innately enjoy watching people suffer. It's kind of messed up.
I feel like we enjoy like the redemptiveness.
There is some
part
redemption
of it.
moments, but they get you in, I think, with the humor. And that's just what this article is about. We love watching people suffer. And it's the whole idea of why Shakespeare is also so entertaining. There's a lot of plays where there's not quote unquote good characters. It's just the writing doesn't necessarily on face value judge them like that. It leaves it up for us. So it's a really fascinating article. Hollywood Reporter, you can go check it out there. The other one, which I don't know if we have this queued up or not, but this past week, oh my gosh, Pusha T did a rap over the Secession opening.
Oh, nice.
Really?
The Nicholas Hoult music. And another person challenged him and made a better version and added lyrics to the whole thing. You can go on the AfterBuzz TV Twitter. If you go back to Friday, we have it tweeted out. It's absolutely amazing, the lyrics that go on with this. I don't know if we can find that, but if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. Just Google Secession rap over intro. It'll pop up.
That song is becoming a pop culture phenomenon of its own, that intro.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I just made it my intro because I think it's just so entertaining. But yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing. So that's the news for this week's episode.
Nice.
Yeah,
And let
thank
us
you.
quickly wrap it up with our prediction for next season. Oh my God. I mean, really, they hit us with everything, right? So
I know, everything.
everything will happen next season.
Would you agree it could end here? Don't you? Like, this could end right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that would be a new kind of maturity that our show would take on, because a lot of times, just for many, many reasons, even the premise of the show, it's like people are going to keep it going because now it's at its all-time high. But I do agree with you that it could end here and our imaginations would go
because it ended so well. Because
ended so well. But I'd be so upset. Please don't do that.
Yeah, please.
Please do not
Don't
do that. Like, I want more.
So does Logan go to prison?
No.
No.
I don't
You
think
think he
so.
fights it?
Well, you know what? Maybe that no just came from.
Yeah.
That no is just like a defense.
Oh,
no.
Jonathan pulled it up.
Good.
Oh, you gotta play this real quick. This is absolutely amazing. I don't know if we have the sound, but Jonathan just found the rap.
All the rich white folk are going to argue. Whoever's best is going to win that kiss from daddy.
I love
All the rich white folk are gonna argue.
Best is going to win that kiss from daddy.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Absolutely amazing.
Yo, this is actually
So,
amazing.
yeah. Who's going to get...
Those are hard to make too.
So since we're short on
Sorry
time,
about that.
who's going to take the crown for you, Ryan? I mean, it looks like it's Kendall, but who do you think it'll be next season?
I think it's Kendall.
Yeah, come on.
Kendall CEO. Okay, what do you
Kendall
same
CEO.
for you?
Yeah, definitely Kendall. Definitely Kendall. He was the one who had the.
No, she's got to play. Kendall's got
Lady
dirty.
First to do it.
Kendall's got dirty hands. Kendall's still got dirty hands. In
Yeah,
this. He's implicating himself, I think.
We'll see what
But
happens.
we'll see what happens. I think. Oh my God! I think that's it from us, guys. Oh my God!
What an awesome season.
I can't
Thank
believe
you guys
it's over.
so much for having me.
Yeah.
You're awesome,
Yeah,
and you should be a
amazing.
permanent panelist here
Yes,
because
please
you
join us
added
next
so much to the
season.
show. This was so much fun. I love doing the show with y'all. This was my
Yeah.
favorite show on TV.
We guys, we thank you so much. Again, my name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong. Where can they find you?
I'm Thelma Mbaezue-Daniel. You can catch me on Instagram at Thelma and Twitter at ThelmaMD.
And I'm Ryan Nilsen at Ryan Nilsen _. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much for queuing in. Shout out to Jerry. Shout out to Greg. We here for you.
Yes, we are. We're here for you next season. See you guys.
All the rich white folk are going to argue.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.